Hey, it's Troy from Strategy Road and Forest Workshops. Come for a walk and we'll have a conversation about customer service and customer experience. Let's talk about customer engagement and experience. Here's a couple of generalised assumptions about what's likely ahead in a great many sectors. For obvious reasons, we're moving into a phase of customers, clients, and consumers wanting or needing to do more with less. Competition will likely heighten as the battle for a shrinking pool of available cash in many sectors intensifies. That's both existing customers as well as new ones. And while some competitive attempts to get your clients over their fence may be a bit ham-fisted in their assaults and their pant-dropping grabs for cash via some crazy discounting or even crazier promises, there'll also be a good number of calm, cleverly and collaboratively created strategic plays that will offer genuine better value to certain cohorts. The tinsel aspects of creating wonderful, memorable customer experience may not be as important in the short term, where the give it to me raw for a lower price might have more appeal, but it is the time to consider the means and mechanics of engaging and satisfying your customers. Here's 7 steps that I think are worth considering at the strategic leadership table. First, define your bell curve. The guts of the bell curve, the on-ramp and the off-ramp aspects of your desired client groups. Let me explain. It comes back to a rigorous assessment of your value proposition, which we talked about last week, and a terrain scan of clusters of customers that you think are right for your enterprise. Let's start with your existing customers. Who do you want and need to keep? Why is that so important? Which groups currently are and will make up the biggest, easiest chunk of next month's, next quarter's, or next year's revenue? Those A and B customer groups, the ones your business model has served so well and will likely keep serving them well. The middle of the bell curve, the biggest, chunkiest bit. Then, also maybe within that, in the months and years ahead, might come some doppelgangers. Those potential clients who look, act, or operate a whole lot like your great existing clients. Who's got similar needs, similar wants, similar profiles to these customers which you've served so well and are planning to continue to do so. If you're able to woo them over, might they fit in that sweet part of the bell curve fairly naturally? Then, think about the on-ramp part of the curve, that front lip of any bell curve, with a number of customers or potential customers that might not yet fit that sweet spot in the middle yet, but who have an emerging or narrow or very specific need or want that you can help them with, who might in time evolve to move up the curve into buying more from you. Who are they? Where are they? Can you categorize them? Do you understand them? Then, let's call it the off-ramp part of the curve, the back lip, the trailing piece. Maybe there are clients that used to do business with you, but now do most of their purchasing elsewhere for some reason, but who haven't completely closed their account. Or maybe there are some prospective clients that will never ever grow to be huge, that will never give you the core part of their business, but there are some small things that you can do to help them. What does that group of customers look like? Once you've taken the time to categorize the range of client cohorts that'll make up the lion's share of your revenue in the year and years ahead, how then will you broadcast your appeal to those groups? So, number 2, attract. How are you going to continue to ensure that those people, those businesses, those customers already doing business with you stay attracted to you? And how are you going to amplify your attractiveness and maximize awareness of your business, your brand, and your value proposition to those you want in the client tent? What are the right communication approaches, the right messaging types, the right platforms or vehicles you'll need to employ to stay front of mind long enough so that they can inhale enough of the right perceptions of you to want to spend with you? For existing customers, is that going to be about talking some hot, compelling talk to them? Or is it just about finding some ways to take your service extras up a notch, reminding them just why it's so good to be a customer of yours? The newbies and potential clients, those not yet spending with you, how will you help them quickly, clearly and compellingly get what it is that you do, get how and why you do it, and get why they should entertain an exploration of you as a provider to them. What flares might you send up or flash suit might you put on in your communications to get them thinking, I like the look of that. The third part of this process then is engagement. Where attraction strategies can be somewhat generic, engagement approaches need to be tailored and personalised to the client, the situation, the moment, the humans. How? Once they've gained a passing appreciation of your existence and have a general sense that maybe you could be good to work with, how will you transform that into meaningful interactions that logically lead up the steps to business? Will it be about clearly showing you understand their challenges, their desires, and you've got the ready-to-roll model to help them get where they need to go? Will it be about, well, here's some experiences that others had, testimonials and case studies that let them self-identify as your kind of people? Will it be about popping your wares, your pricing and the process terms transparently in the shop window so that it's really easy to get and they can easily opt in or out? Or will it be about gifting the consultation, the first interaction, so they can palpably get a sense of the value, the style, the substance of your brand of help, and are left wanting more via the next paid for bit? Being really clear on your engagement mechanisms needs you to understand the way your desires like to engage, and it needs you to transition them appropriately to the dotted line signing or tap the card on the PayWave machine place. 4. Onboarding. Okay, so the client's engaged. They're keen to enjoy the benefits of what you've been speaking about or they've been seeing. And in theory, they're there. There's now just that small matter of formalising things. Clicking the Pay Now button, inputting credit card details, asking the closing question in old school parlance. Okay, so the next steps are, how does that sound to you? Turning potential benefits into actual kinetic benefits. You'll do this in your own way and with your own style, no doubt. But again, think about the culture and the nature of the client. Think about the magnitude or longevity or reproducibility of the purchase. In other words, do we have to do this dance with this client every time they need a new box of widgets? Or can we set this up to be easier, a no-brainer from here on out? We're watching the rise of subscription model businesses and direct debit monthly transactions for this very reason. Not only does it make it easier for the client not to have to do the same dance repeatedly, it creates predictability and assuredness for the supplier. It carries a couple of risks, of course: getting complacent, getting greedy, distancing yourself from regular conversations with the client, which also carry risks but are imbued with some great up and cross-selling opportunities, as well as continually deepening the human relationships. So look, it'll be horses for courses, but the onboarding process doesn't end with a signed commitment or a cash exchange. That's just the trigger for the real work of getting things rolling as fast, smoothly and delightfully as possible for the customer. This is the moment for service level expectation setting. It's the moment to counterbalance any potential post-purchase regret feelings with some, oh my God, this is even better than I'd hoped for, excitement moments. What can you have lined up, ready to roll, process underpinned, the moment a client signs or re-signs with you to keep the positivity and excitement hormones surging through their brains as their cash moves to you? 5. Deliver and delight. Now you've made some big promises, taken their cash, got them all excited like kids with raspberry bullets just before bedtime. But can you deliver? No. Can you exceed? Because you have to. A lot of organisations give far too little time or energy to this facet of customer relationship management. The bridge between done deal and damn, you guys are good. And often that's just a function of poor or outdated or even lack of a process and the application of it. The wheels of industry should whiz into action as that client's pen hits the contract with steps 1, 2, 3, 17.3 Part B, a well-defined, flexible where it needs to be mechanism that ensures that expectations aren't let down. So, how tight and clear and honest and delightful is your delivery process? How is it dealt with when you have the rug ripped out from under your feet? And what substitutes or means do you have to massage and temporarily satisfy when the unavoidable gets realised? This is a great space for strategic thought and conversation because you get this bit right better than the competitors, and it's the first place a client can make some big positive noises about doing business with you and be inspired to look at getting more from you. So, how will yours need to sharpen in the year and years ahead? 6. Learning from clients. Even if you've managed to get some great net promoter scores from clients after they've taken delivery of or benefited from the thing they invested in, you know you didn't get it perfect, right? You know it can always be bettered, can be refined and stepped up, or stepped back or sideways the next time. You might have done a bang-up job, but the client's world, wants and needs are evolving pretty quickly. And if you redid it in a month or 6 months' time precisely as you've just done it, well, they might not be as delighted. Maybe just because markets are pushing client expectations north. So, still, the need to learn about what could be bettered and how it could be bettered for a next time is really important. Now, post-purchase, how do we do out of 10 surveys are a little bit naff, and you can do more harm than good asking lots of annoying questions. But the nuanced, subtle, inquisitive and helpful follow-up conversations, interactions, and this one's really critical, observations, might shine a light on a few small things you can tweak. Humility might have a role here. Mr. and Mrs. Client, we know it's not perfect, but we'd love to make it ever better. Would you please help us? Clients that are deeply engaged with your brand like knowing their provider wants their opinion and wants to improve for them, even if they're not so flash at filling in the surveys. So how are you going to do that in and beyond 2020? Learn from these client experiences. And then number 7, tighten and expand. From the client-delivered learnings, from the what you've done and how you've gone about it analysis you carry out, and from the financial and human outcomes of your endeavours to this point, there's no doubt stuff you need to rein in and stuff you need to go further with. Where are things too floppy? Where are you trying to do too much for too diverse a client collective? Are some of those on-rampers and off-rampers just not worth the energy for their time, money, effort or opportunity costs you're paying? And so maybe you can tighten the bell curve a bit. Are some of the things you're doing to attract or engage or onboard simply not paying sufficient dividends? Or there are now better, tighter ways to do them equally or more effectively? Are there some things you've been testing that look really bright or are bearing disproportionately large bunches of fruit? And so the smart play might be to double down on them. And what's going to fund that? This is not necessarily a one-off what gets cut, what gets some extra cash moment in a strategic planning process. I think it's evolutionary and continual. But being clear and, where you can, discreet about interpreting and applying the learnings for a better model needs some time and resources dedicated to it. Because then the wheel turns again. You get to go again. Let me wrap up this little brain poke about customer engagement and experience creation with a little what-if hypothetical, just to stretch your thinking further and test some outer limits. Let's stick with one of our case study ideas from last week's episode, a cellar door. What if today a winery said, we're only selling direct, via our own physical locations or electronically? We'll now take full and complete responsibility and ownership for every single touch point our customers have with our brand and our products. We're reworking our customer interface and we're starting a members club, a family we'll call it, that has a decade-long subscription period. You can take different quantities of different varietals at different time points. You can change that over time. You can pay the whole lot off a decade in advance for some obscene discounts and bonuses, or you can pay it in annual or quarterly, monthly or weekly direct debit increments. We can ship it at convenient intervals that you define, or sell some of it for you until you're ready for it, or we recommend it should be drunk, and we can break it up and send parcels off to your loved ones or your clients. We'll employ our own couriers, and the delivery experience will be like nothing you've ever encountered. with velvet-wrapped, white-gloved, knowledgeable, caring and fun professionals giving you a soul-shocking service experience on your stoop. It will redefine what delivery can be. We'll capture as much information about your life, your loves, your food and travel preferences as you're comfortable sharing with us, and we'll employ it to tailor recommendations and matching ideas, right down to what'll work with your preferred topping of the pizza joint around the corner from you. And these recommendations will be delivered via video link to you when you want them by the ones that made the wine from where the wine was made. We'll curate a companion range of other wines, other drinks, other consumables and delectables from other providers that we'll hand select, that we trust on your behalf, that'll make their way out to you and bring freshness and diversity to complement our own lines. We'll have you along at unique club events where your membership gets you 4 tickets instead of 1, so you can delight others and grow our family. And we'll also create a number of random pop-up, come-to-you surprise events designed just for you and those you care about. And because you'll have a major birthday in that decade, well, you need to know we'll be throwing you a special party. We'll build a 3-day retreat, redeemable any time across the decade, to immerse yourself in all facets of what we do and the special part of the earth we do it on. And the libations and larder will be plentiful between walks and massages. And we'll give you access to 24/7, 365 live streaming of what's happening in the vineyard, in the shed, and you can interact in real time with the crew when knock-off beers during vintage are in full swing. We'll do this and we'll do more. We'll test and trial and evolve and sharpen and improve over the years ahead, all in the quest to create the greatest possible experiences you can have, to maximise the enjoyment and delight you can derive from connecting yourself to our brand. And in return, we ask you to be a paid-up part of our family for at least 10 years. What if they did that today? A winery. Maybe you're not a winery, or a steakhouse, or a football club. They're all very similar models. Maybe you're a merchant of gumboots and Garmin watches. Maybe you contract teams of cleaners to office buildings. Maybe you give 6-minute increment advice predicated on your experience in a matter. Maybe you mould from clay or steel or wood chips something others need or want. Maybe you train or educate or pull them out when they get bogged. Maybe in your space someone is evolving their attraction, engagement and service strategies to enlarge and enrich their client pool. They're working to bring in different things, products, services, skills, methods they know their clients will love or need. Or they're carving off the bumpy bits in their business that clients have never really valued, that get in the way of world's greatest service experience. They're redesigning or amplifying their brand banners and broadcast channels and comms approaches to get deeper, faster into the hearts, minds and PayPal accounts of those that'll keep their lights on and keep allowing them to fulfill their purpose. Maybe from a client perspective, positive changes are moving into your sector and you get the chance to create or champion or catch up fast to those client-centric changes. How seriously invested in client-centric strategy will your business be in the year and years ahead? If you'd like help confronting the right questions and formulating some strategic plans that marry your ambitions with what you're doing with your clients, then please sing out. Troy@strategyroad.com.au 0430 308 963. Thank you. I'll put another of these videos out next week to help you sharpen your strategic thinking in these interesting times. Be well and be strategic.